Thank you. All right. Who here has a LinkedIn account? Hands up. All right. Who knows what a personal brand is and why you should potentially build one? Okay, cool. Who's already posting content regularly? Who thinks it's a breeze to do that? And who thinks they're already getting the most out of the platform? All right, if your hand is still up, there's one. I think you can leave. For everybody else, I think I've got something for you. Now, let me very briefly touch on the personal brand thing. I got Jean-Luc here. He's accompanying me for this presentation. And the thing with a personal brand is that we live in an age of unprecedented leverage. Never before in history was it possible for one human to reach that many people basically for free, right? Naval Ravikant, if you don't know him, check out his tweet storms. Social media is a permissionless leverage. It's the leverage behind the newly rich, right? It's there for everybody. Everybody can reach thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. You don't need to be the head of state. You don't need to own a media outlet. You don't need to be the BBC to do that anymore. And a personal brand is basically the tool you can use to own that space and to leverage that leverage. What I'm going to touch on today, basically a couple of strategies on how you can do that on LinkedIn, how you can utilize AI to help you do that, a couple of frameworks. If we have some time, we're going to debunk some myths, and I tell you a bit about how to find ideas, what to watch out for when you write content, basically everything that goes into a successful strategy for LinkedIn. Now, who am I and why am I talking to you? In addition to what the MC just said, I am the founder of Contentin, which is an AI application that trains a personalized ghostwriter for you, specifically for LinkedIn. So basically, everything that I'm going to talk about are the strategies that we use in the application to write awesome content with you and do it like 10 times faster. I'm very close to cracking 7K followers on LinkedIn. If you guys were so kind as to scan this QR code, we can make it happen right now, I think. I'm like really very, very close. Thank you. Okay, so first of all, why do people fail? This is based on my own experience. I was super close to giving up and then eventually learned the stuff and then eventually turned that into a tool so I can help more people with that. It comes down to three major things. First of all, you have a wrong or you have no strategy at all. This is when you feel like your posts are going nowhere. You might post like randomly, just out of, you have an idea, you go out there, you post. Wrong types of content, inauthentic content, salesy content, low quality content. That's not only the information that you're actually conveying, but also the copywriting skills, like how you present it, how you format it. You can have the best information out there. If you put it out there like a block of text, nobody's going to read it, and it's going to be pointless. Second, you have no copywriting skills. This is the big one that got me, basically, because it just took me hours to write posts. It took me like 1 to 2 hours to get one post out. Once I had an idea, right? So first you have to find the ideas. Maybe you have no ideas. You run into writer's block. You lack the copywriting skills to make these ideas actually nice, make them readable, make them engaging. And one thing that also got me quite hard was, you have your couple of content pillars, and then you've written one post about all of them, and then you're like, well, I've said it all, haven't I? Right? So you have to find a way to like say the same thing 1,000 times without becoming repetitive or boring. And the third one, probably the biggest one, why most people give up, is the shortcut fallacy. This is when you post for a while, you have the best intentions, all you hear is crickets, you lose motivation, and you just give up. It does take some time to make this work, but it does work. And if you have the right strategies, at least you're on the right path while you're doing it and while you're going through those first couple of weeks or maybe a few months to actually get it going. Yeah. Again, this was me. It's not just Jean-Luc. I was very close to giving up. It used to take me forever. I post something, nothing would happen. All these glorified inbound leads that everybody's talking about never happened. But I didn't want to give up, so I thought I'd give it like one more shot. Let's do it the tech way, right? I'm a coder. Let's start with first principles. And the first principle on LinkedIn is the LinkedIn algorithm. And there have been like probably books written about this thing, about like how long your post should be, what time you need to post, all that kind of stuff. It's all shite, like doesn't really matter. What matters is that you understand a little bit how it's working. And how it is working is you need to understand how it actually starts to present your posts to your audience. So when you post something, LinkedIn will show your post to a subset of your followers, of your network. And depending on how this subset engages with your post, it will show it to like a second, slightly larger subset, and a third, slightly larger subset, always depending on how well these people engage with your content. And the beauty with LinkedIn is that if you go through enough of those hoops, eventually the algorithm will decide to show your stuff outside of your network, and this is when you have a chance to go viral. And LinkedIn is quite unique in that, I think next to TikTok, it's the one platform where it's fairly easy to reach people at scale outside of your network. Go viral, basically. Now, what follows out of this is that the follower count per se is pretty irrelevant. You can go viral with 1,000 or 2,000 followers. What's really important is how engaging your content is, because you need to go through these hoops of engagement, right? So if you're watching out for anything, it's going to be engagement. You don't need tens of thousands of followers on LinkedIn, which is amazing as well. So yeah, engagement is bigger than impressions. Impressions will follow the engagement, and the followers will follow the impressions. So if you optimize for anything, optimize for engagement. And of course, you need copywriting skills. If you observe yourself on the platform, the feed is a bloody mess, if you ask me. And what that means is you just skim the shit out of it, right? You just la, 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 la. So it's so super important to grab people's attention, and you need to make them click the show more button, and you do that with great hooks, right? And then you need to deliver on that hook, and then you need to write a call to action to get them to engage with your stuff, to give a like, give a comment, maybe even share. As a general rule of thumb for LinkedIn, it's way better to post less with higher quality rather than on higher quantity. So if you post amazing content 3 times a week, you're golden. That's all you need. There's an exception to this, though. If you're starting out, I would actually highly recommend to post at least daily or twice a day, just to get the repetition in so you learn quicker and you figure out what works faster. We'll look into this a bit later. So what I've discovered from learning these things is that to be successful, you need to build a content follower match. And the good news is this is very much in your control. It just takes time, right? So with consistency, talking about the same topic over and over again, you attract people that are likely to engage with your stuff, and by getting more engagement, you're more likely, to basically make the whole system into a flywheel and get more and more impressions, more and more engagement, eventually go viral out of the system. And that also depends obviously on content quality, because the people need to engage with that content in the first place. So, Jean-Luc, things are only impossible until they are not. Thank you so much for this quote. And this inspired me a bit. And there's, no frameworks and stuff with no solutions without frameworks. So let's look at the framework that we use for content in the background. Obviously, you need a plan. You need to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, and why you're doing it. Oops. You need ideas, ideally an endless stream of ideas. So you just don't have to spend time on finding ideas, but you always know what to do. You need great copywriting skills. I personally believe you should use AI, just because, for me, it used me to take 1 to 2 hours for a post, and now I'm down to less than 10 minutes because of systems and because of AI. If you're a born copywriter, just go ahead. You're golden. That's fine. set up the system, set up things that help you, and then repeat and iterate and optimize. And then eventually, you will inevitably actually dominate your niche, what you're talking to, what you're talking about on LinkedIn. The system definitely works. And because I like Jean-Luc so much, I called it Picard. You know, you always have to have a shitty acronym for your stuff, right? All right, let's look into these things in a bit more detail. Obviously, no plan without strategy, though. The good thing about strategy, you only have to do it once. And then maybe you revise it a little, a month in, 3 months in, whatever. But the huge chunk of the work can be done in like an afternoon. And that is figuring out who you talk to, your ICP, your ideal customer profile, and your content pillars. Your content pillars are usually your expertise, your clients' pain points, their needs, that kind of stuff. And once you have that, it's time to create your plan, and the plan will help you to know what to do at any given day or in any given week. It will tell you when to post, what to post, and with what intent. So all this stuff is basically you already know what to do, and you don't have to figure it out. You know, no waking up Tuesday morning like, shit, I still have to write a post. What am I going to write about? Like this stuff you completely want to eliminate. Post styles are a very, very helpful concept to know and to ingrain in your system. There are two big ones. It's authority content and it's social content. Authority content is everything that actually uses your content pillars, and that, you know, if you're an email marketer, how to optimize opening rates by 10%, here are my 5 tips. Or a challenging version of that is, many people in the industry believe that opening rates are doomed. Here's why that's wrong. Like stuff like that, right? You just talk about your expertise, your pain points in different ways. And you also should do social content. And by social content, I mean content talking about yourself. Please do not share your whole life on LinkedIn. Pick selectively, but do show your face. Show a bit of the behind the scenes, show who you are. In the end, people buy from people. And these posts will not only give you the most engagement, but these are also the posts that will make you memorable. These are the posts that will actually create your USP. You are, as a person, your biggest USP. So if you're an email marketer, there's probably 100,000 email marketers on LinkedIn. By being you, your face, with your quirks and your traits and your values as an email marketer, you become unique. It's actually very simple. In terms of cadence, I think I said it before, you should post at a bare minimum 3 to 5 times per week. And in ratio, it's 3 to 4 authority posts for 1 social post. Again, quality over quantity, but keep in mind if you're starting out and you need to like refine your system, probably a higher cadence is beneficial. Once you have that down, you might end up with something like this. This is a screenshot from the app, but basically what you want to know at this point is on which days am I posting, which topic am I posting about, and in which style am I posting. And now you need to fill this up with ideas, like what are you actually going to write? And how do you find ideas? Best thing is talking to clients, especially if you've figured out your content pillars, and then you have them in the back of your head and you're a bit receptive of how your clients actually talk about that stuff. Very helpful. You just use your content pillars as is. That's very easy. You talk about industry news, relevant stuff. Please don't just post them, but use them as a chance to tell your opinion. It's a good way to use like a challenging type of post. What's for me really cool is day to day. Like it's always cool to show what you're doing, how you're doing stuff. Like a little snapshot of me sitting at the computer, like coding a new feature, always works. Like it's really good. And this is the first time where AI like really comes in, and what AI was already good at since like GPT-3 or something. If you give it your content pillars, it'll like really helps you to get just idea after idea after idea. It's like an endless stream. I forgot to mention. I'll touch a little bit on prompts, but actually I have a freebie for you because it's a bit stupid to talk prompts in depth. So at the end, like, there's another QR code for you to download a freebie with all the prompts in it. And I have one for this, obviously, as well. 1,000 ways. I said this before, like, how do I say the same thing 1,000 ways? One mighty way, I'll show you how to use it in a second, are the post styles that we just talked about. Another one is repurposing. Once you find something that works, it's just reuse it. Just, make it again. Make it as a video. Make it as a slideshow. Make it with a different image. Give it to the AI. Let the AI rewrite it for you in a different style. It's amazing. And before AI and also with AI, viral templates was a very, very mighty way for me. Viral templates are basically you find a good post that you really resonate with, that you like, and you kind of destructure it and you just reuse the same structure with your topic. It's kind of a bit of a superpower, especially if you, again, plug it into AI. Content matrix. This is what I just talked about if you combine a topic with post styles. So just by doing that, you get, like, in this case, I think 5 different posts out of one topic. To give you an example, second line is eco-friendly living tips, and an actionable post would be creating a zero-waste home, a step-by-step guide, and a contrarian post out of this would be the case against electric vehicles. Right, fairly simple way to figure out new ways how to talk about the same stuff. With that down, your content plan should now look something like this. So you know when to post, you know how to post, and you know what you're going to talk about. Now we need to wrap that into content, and I need to speed up a little bit. Tone of voice. People on LinkedIn are positive. They expect to get, like, insights, real insights, to be educated a little bit, but keep it simple. Try to write in a 5th grade level. Be positive and be fun. Don't be a clown, but be, like, easy consumable. Let's put it that way. Be concise, be to the point. If you look at formatting, there's a couple of frameworks out there. Every copywriting influencer has their own frameworks, but what it comes down to is attention, interest, desire, action. Nothing new there. Oldest marketing formula in the world. If you write, spend 80% of your time on the hook and the rehook section, and you can see why. Because depending on if you have an attachment or not, you might see 1 to 3 lines in the preview, and you need to grab people and pull them into your content in ideally the top 2 lines. So in this case, mornings are sacred to me is a statement, right? And I protect them ferociously. By that, I kind of, like, make people more interested and potentially click on it. You deliver. Listicles are always cool. And you ask for engagement in the bottom. This, by the way, is AI generated. Formatting is a mighty tool, very mighty. I'm a complete sucker for it. If you want to learn it, this guy, Jasmine Alledge, is the guy to follow. Like, you don't need to read his posts to see how this is, like, just sucking you into reading every line. It's just amazing what this guy does. General productivity tips. Use cheat sheets, especially for hooks and call to actions. I think I have one for both in the freebie. Use viral templates. Most copywriters have, like, a giveaway or something that gets you started on this. And productivity killer for me was to write in bulk and schedule. So I'm going to sit down on a Sunday afternoon and pre-write my content for the week, or sometimes I do it for 2 weeks, or if I'm, like, really good, I do it for a month. And then I schedule it, and then all I have to do is, like, show up and engage a little bit for, like, 15 minutes when it goes live. But you never have this, oh shit, I need to post today. How can AI benefit you? I think everybody needs a, data buddy. First of all, a disclaimer: if you use AI and you use it bad, it's not going to do anything for you, because it's going to be generic and bloated content, and people on LinkedIn will spot that from a mile away. So thou shall not copy and paste AI content. Always give it a couple of minutes, edit it, and make it yours. You get way better results if you work on your prompts continuously, if you train the AI in your style, and if you definitely make sure to give it, like, real input from your brain. That does help a lot. I showed you this content matrix before. There's a prompt for this to just make GPT spit out this thing for you. It's amazing. It's in the freebie. Sorry, I have to speed up a little bit. For hooks and call to actions, same thing. You don't need to take pictures, really. Just get the freebie, and you'll have the whole text, and it's not going to be cut off. And it's, yeah. I also have again, cheat sheets with hundreds of call to actions and hooks for you there. For post drafts, this is where it gets a bit tricky. If you just go to GPT and tell it, please write me a LinkedIn post about this topic, it's going to be crap. So you need some more. This is showing me some tips. Yeah, so you need to work. This is a very important prompt, and it's probably one that takes the most work, and it's usually only going to work if you give it a bunch of your posts that you've already written to train it in your style, which are also is one of the more advanced concepts. Training it in your style, repurposing it, and treating it as a ghostwriter. That was a big breakthrough for me. So basically, I make the AI interview me. I can stay in my expert brain and just talk about the stuff that I talk about all day. It's very easy for me. And then the AI takes that and creates an amazing post out of this for me. This is kind of what we're doing with content in, and there's a smaller version of this as a custom GPT available from us, also in the freebie. Repeat what I said before. Consistency is the key, and try to build a system for yourself where you think, okay, I need to do this forever. This system will allow me to do this forever. And the system can be Excel, it can be Trello. I used to start out with Notion, and then it ended up being 3, 4, 5 tools that I was using. And as a coder, and Excel was one of them, and I hate Excel. And as a coder, I was like, okay, fuck, I'm gonna, put all of this together in one tool, which is content, but you can easily do that with Notion as well if you keep track of stuff. For the improving, again, you can only improve what you can measure. What you can measure is impressions and its engagement. Please look at engagement. I would recommend using something like a score to keep track of this. This is what we're using. I have a table that will calculate that for you. Just so to give you some pointers as to how you're actually performing. And once you have that, you will have a range. You post for 2-3 weeks, you see your range as to when do I hear crickets and when does stuff work. If stuff tanks, don't throw it away right away. I would start by iterating on the hook, see if that was the problem. Maybe iterate on the style or on the image that you've used, but don't just throw away the whole thing right away. If all of this doesn't work, iterate the topic for sure. If you find something that works, get all in, repurpose it, improve it, put it into different media formats, rework it, make a freebie out of it, just exploit it as much as you can. Right? And your goal with this is to find more and more things that work, and once you have that, then you will start to dominate and be the authority that you want to be. Yay! Right? All right, I've got 2 minutes. I think I've got this. Nice. What I want you to take away from this, in a very brief summary, besides the freebie with all the goodies, is post great content, do it consistently, do it 3 to 5 times a week, and plan on doing it forever. And try to find a system as fast as you can that will allow you to do that forever without taking up all your time. Do 3 to 4 authority posts for 1 social post. This will earn you the right to sprinkle promotional content on top of this. Bonus points if you manage to kind of morph promotional stuff into your other posts. So you deliver a lot of value, and then you're also saying, hey, also you can join my webinar, I'll talk about this in more depth, for example, is a very nice way to do this. You could also always, in your footer, link to the first comment, which is a good place for a freebie, a lead magnet, that kind of stuff. Write strong hooks and call to actions and spend the most of your time on this. Also, when you get AI content, make sure basically your editing time. For me, these days, it's down to 2 to 3 minutes, and 2 minutes would be spent on the hook and 1 minute on just, tweaking the formatting a bit of the rest of it. Find out what works, iterate on the fails, repurpose the wins. That's actually the biggest thing. If you find something that works, just do it again, do it again, do it again. There's nothing wrong with reposting the same post with just a different image 3 months later. There's nothing wrong with having, rewriting a post that worked 2 weeks ago and just do it in a different fashion. And yeah, again, find a system that will allow you to do this without becoming taking up all your time. Whoa! Bang on the second. Thank you so much, guys. This is the freebie. I also have, if you're interested, coupon codes, 20% off forever on subscriptions for Content In. So find me and get one of those. And if you haven't, look me up on LinkedIn and I can crack the 7K followers today. That would be amazing. Thank you. Awesome.